anything Britain has witnessed in 7 decades. Prince William has taken a step no future monarch has dared to take in the modern era. He refused to attend the Prime Minister's official event. He didn't postpone. He didn't quietly excuse himself. He boycotted it, openly, deliberately, and in full view of the world. Now let's be clear, this was not a scheduling issue. It wasn't a diplomatic miscommunication. What we're witnessing is an unmistakable act of defiance, a public challenge from the future King of the United Kingdom to the sitting government. And if this looks like royal drama, it isn't. This is politics at the highest constitutional level. Here's what happened. Yesterday afternoon, Prince William was expected at Prime Minister Keir Starmer's Commonwealth Day reception at Lancaster House. More than 300 guests were in attendance. Ambassadors, dignitaries, international press. Everything was set. Then, just 15 minutes before his scheduled arrival, Kensington Palace delivered a short, blunt message. The Prince of Wales would not be attending. No warning, no courtesy call. Simply a refusal. The reaction inside Lancaster House was immediate. Confusion spread across the room. Foreign officials demanded explanations that Downing Street simply didn't have. Britain's future king had just boycotted a major state event, and the embarrassment was global. But what makes this moment historic is what's now emerging from palace sources. This was no logistical mix-up or last-minute illness. It was a calculated move. According to insiders, Prince William privately told senior aides he could not share a stage with a government he believes is undermining the constitutional independence of the monarchy. Those are extraordinary words from a man raised to remain neutral. Yet the context matters. Starmer's Labour government has been pursuing sweeping reforms to royal funding and oversight, proposals critics within the palace are calling a slow-motion coup against the Crown's autonomy. Draft documents leaked last month revealed plans to cut the sovereign grant and require government approval for royal speeches and overseas visits. For the heir to the throne, this was a step too far. His absence, visible, intentional, and symbolic, shattered 70 years of carefully maintained royal neutrality. To grasp the scale of this, remember, senior royals simply do not make political statements. They endure governments, they do not confront them. The last comparable act of royal defiance dates back to the Suez Crisis of 1956. And even then, it happened behind closed doors. William's boycott, by contrast, unfolded under the full glare of the international press. The fallout was swift. Foreign Secretary David Lammy was reportedly blindsided, learning of the prince's withdrawal through informal channels rather than through official communication. That breakdown alone signals how far relations between Kensington Palace and Downing Street have deteriorated. As ministers arrived at Lancaster House, they were met with awkward questions from foreign leaders. Where is the Prince of Wales? Instead of a united display of Commonwealth solidarity, the evening turned into a public demonstration of constitutional fracture. And then, just hours later, came the statement that confirmed it all. At 8 p.m., Kensington Palace released a short but pointed message. The prince spoke of defending constitutional foundations and upholding the independence and dignity of the crown. That word, independence, was not chosen lightly. Legal experts quickly noted its significance. In essence, the future king was warning that government actions risk transforming the monarchy from an institution above politics into one controlled by it. If true, this is not modernization, it's transformation. And depending on what happens next, it could redefine the very balance of power at the heart of Britain's constitutional monarchy. Inside Westminster tonight, the mood is one of quiet panic. Labour MPs are growing increasingly alarmed at the prospect of a public confrontation with the royal family, and at the worst possible political moment. Princess Catherine's approval ratings remain in the high 70s. Prince William continues to rank among the most trusted figures in British public life. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Keir Starmer's government is polling in the low 30s. Picking a fight with the royals while public confidence is slipping looks dangerously close to political self-sabotage. Even within Labour ranks, dissent is emerging. One backbencher, speaking off the record, described the dispute as an unforced error, a gift to the opposition that no strategist could have designed better. Another said Labour's internal WhatsApp groups range from concern to outright panic. Few in Westminster believed the royals would actually retaliate. Now that they have, the government appears to have no strategy to contain the fallout. And it isn't just Prince William. Sources close to the palace say Princess Anne and Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, both known for their discipline and discretion, are equally angered by proposals that would cut funding for working royals. Anne, who quietly completes more than 500 engagements a year, is said to be livid. Discussions are reportedly underway about coordinated action, with multiple senior royals considering boycotting government functions until the reforms are withdrawn. That kind of move would be seismic. The monarchy's participation underpins Britain's entire soft power structure. State dinners require royal hosts. Diplomatic receptions depend on royal presence for protocol. Honor ceremonies can't proceed without them. The system relies on cooperation, and for the first time in generations, that cooperation appears to have collapsed. The public, meanwhile, has already chosen a side. Social media erupted within hours, with pro-William hashtags trending globally. Overnight polling shows 68% of Britons supporting William's stance, while only 14% back the government's position. Even among Labour voters, barely a third support Starmer's approach. Those are politically fatal numbers. Sensing opportunity, Conservative leader Rishi Sunak moved swiftly. He pledged full support for the monarchy and vowed to reverse the Labour reforms if his party returns to power. Whether that promise holds weight or not is irrelevant. It's working. Conservative polling has surged by 7 points in just 3 days, marking their strongest performance since the election defeat. In effect, Starmer has handed his opponents the perfect narrative weapon. But beyond the politics lies a deeper constitutional danger. The monarchy depends on government funding. The sovereign grant, drawn from Crown estate profits, still requires parliamentary approval. If this standoff escalates, both sides risk mutual destruction. The royals need funding, the government needs royal cooperation to function ceremonially. Push too far, and William risks dragging the crown into partisan politics, a move that could undermine the very institution he's trying to protect. Push too hard from Downing Street, and Starmer risks igniting a constitutional crisis that could define and potentially end his premiership. Constitutional scholars are sounding alarms. Britain's system depends on unwritten conventions, trust and respect between Crown and Parliament. When that trust erodes, there is no legal playbook to fall back on. The last comparable breakdown was the abdication crisis of 1936, a moment that nearly ended the monarchy itself. Professor Robert Hazel, one of the UK's leading constitutional experts, described this as the most serious confrontation between the Crown and government since the Second World War. He warns both sides must find a face-saving compromise before their positions harden beyond repair. Once political battle lines are drawn in public, retreat becomes almost impossible. There's also an international dimension the government cannot ignore. Prince William has devoted years to strengthening ties across the Commonwealth. 15 member nations still recognize the British monarch as their head of state. If he believes the government is undermining that role or dismissing Commonwealth tradition, it explains his willingness to take such a bold stand. Several Commonwealth leaders are privately siding with William. According to diplomatic sources, they view the monarchy as the symbolic anchor holding the Commonwealth together. Their message to London has been direct and unambiguous. Weaken the Crown, and you weaken the Commonwealth itself. And tonight, that warning is echoing loudly through the halls of Downing Street. The economic implications of this crisis are now impossible to ignore. Royal events alone contribute an estimated $1.8 billion a year to Britain's tourism industry. Beyond that, the monarchy remains a vital instrument of British soft power. Its influence on global diplomacy and business relations is immense, though difficult to quantify. If senior royals begin stepping back from public duties in protest, the consequences will be immediate and costly, both economically and diplomatically. Inside number 10, there's growing unease. Sources describe a sense of alarm that this entire episode has been catastrophically mismanaged. Some aides argue the government blundered by failing to consult Buckingham Palace before unveiling reforms. Others warn that reversing course now would expose fatal weakness. Sir Keir Starmer faces a political trap of his own making, caught between a Republican base demanding bold action and a political reality that shows he's rapidly losing control of the narrative. On Tuesday, Parliament is set to debate royal funding reforms. If that session proceeds despite Prince William's protest, we could see the confrontation escalate further. Yet, if the government retreats, Starmer risks enraging his supporters, who will accuse him of capitulating to unelected privilege. In truth, there are no easy options left. William appears to have made his calculation. By speaking out, even at the cost of breaking royal protocol, he's decided that silence would be the greater danger. His message is clear. If the monarchy's constitutional role is being dismantled piece by piece, he will not stand by quietly. Whether that gamble secures his legacy or accelerates the monarchy's decline will shape Britain's future in ways few yet grasp. So, what's your take? Is Prince William justified in breaking royal neutrality to defend the crown? Should Starmer yield to avoid a deeper constitutional crisis? Or is this confrontation the reckoning Britain has long postponed? A test of what monarchy truly means in a modern democracy? We'll be tracking every development as this story unfolds. Stay with us, because this fight is only just beginning.